Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is Sunday night again and it's time for another live stream. Now, I hope you're all safe and well wherever you are. It's a horrible, horrible night here. Let me just move the desk a little bit. I was catching it with my chair. Just been messing with my chair actually, trying to get it right. It's not quite right. 1 second. I'd messed with the height settings on the chair. And I messed with everything and it wasn't quite working as it should be. So, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's time for another live stream. So this week, what we're going to talk about, well, there's quite a bit to talk about because there's some cool stuff this week. It's not all going to be DJI. We're going to talk a bit about DJI, but we're also going to talk about something new for HDZero and DJI and some other stuff that I've seen along the way as well. Now, I'm just going to clear this off my screen because the second I start a stream, I wish I could show you this, but the second we've started this stream, right, and YouTube has come up with a box saying now would be a good time to insert ads. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It really is. It's second you go live, it just says you should put adverts on. So, anyway, this week, we've got a lot to talk about. This is probably going to be a bit of a quieter stream than last week. It was incredible the amount of people we had on last Sunday's stream. Over 550 people at one point. And that stream actually turned into a review of the Avata drone. And I've ended up, for those who haven't seen, putting that out as a separate video because we just covered so much in that stream. We really did. And some stuff you haven't seen anywhere else as well. So, yeah, it was great. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who took part because it was a great stream. Now, hello to everyone in the chat. Good evening, Wolf. How are you? Type. How are you, my friend? GMI. Ooh, Roddy, I can see the Bobby Bags. Hello, how are you doing, my friend? Eduardo, I can never say it properly. Phil Upton, Darkman. Hello, Isaac. Beefy Beef. Hello, everyone who is here. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about tonight, I'm just going to do a bit more pushing of this, which is this thing you can see here, which is the petition for the DJI Digital FPV system, and specifically the petition to allow the goggles 2, to get support. Now, if you haven't signed this already, please do go consider checking it out. Please do sign it. I want to get the numbers up a bit more. I'm going to be putting a video out on this week. I'm going to be basically presenting this to DJI in a video and telling them it is here and what are you going to do about it, because we're at the stage now that this petition is larger than the petition that was out there to get tripod mode by Philip Bloom on the other Mavic models. So I see no reason why we can't take this petition to DJI now as well. So it's there if you want it. Now, I'm just going to allow them in the chat, let them go in. I'm also, while I'm on you, for some reason, every time I start OBS up, it messes with my live camera. I have no idea why it does that. There we go. We're going to put that there. That's a little bit better. So, we've got that. So I'm going to be putting a video out, but if you haven't signed the petition, please do check it out. Please do make sure you do. It's on change.org. You can get to it by just searching for DJI FPV and it will come up. Hello, Bruce. How are you doing? DJI will not care about this at all. I don't know. Look, if we do nothing, nothing will change. I can promise you the right amount of noise gets DJI to take action. So we wouldn't have had fixes on the V2 goggles if they didn't. So I'm not going to write it off that nothing is possible. Let's see. I'm not promising everything, not promising anything, but let's see. But if we don't do anything, nothing will change. I did. Bruce has said Andy RC has done a video. Yeah, I've seen Andy's video, and I think some of what he's shown is a lot worse than what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing it as bad as what Andy's shown. I'm not going to comment on other people's videos because I get people who accuse me of various things. All I can tell you is what I'm seeing isn't that bad. Not remotely that bad, but it certainly isn't as good as I think it should be. I've said my thoughts in that stream. I've said it, you know, I put it out as a live stream rather than as a video, and then I've ended up publishing mine after Andy, but I actually said all of this before Andy on the live stream, so it's a bit weird. I have put like a bit of an image together actually, which sort of shows what I see. Let me just see if I can find it. Is it this one here? Yeah, this gives you an idea, right? This is a loose idea of what I see. I put this together, this one here. I'm just going to turn off me a minute so you guys can see it. Boom. This is an idea of what I see on the goggles pretty much. The whole main image is clear. But I get this sort of doubling and streaking of the OSD items. This is what I'm seeing, and you can see it a bit here. This may be even a little bit extreme still, if I'm honest. I'm not going to say this is 100% accurate. But what I can see is if I want to lose these corners, I can bring the optics out, but I do start to feel an overlap in the middle. But that overlap does fade away the more you fly it. But it does give you a bit of an indication of sort of how I see it. That's sort of my visual interpretation of what I'm seeing on the DJI goggles. But I will say this. There are people who have put them on and they are perfect. There are people who put them on and they seem to be very bad. There are people who put them on and they seem to be like where I'm at. These goggles, the biggest issue with these is they're very face specific, and that seems to be the situation. It's not a case of foam. If anyone says you want better foam, the foam isn't the problem. Moving the goggle away from your eyes makes it worse, not better. If anything, they need to close. They need to come in closer. But that's that. You know, they're not particularly great for me. So, but with regards to the petition, I'm going to be putting out a video on that in the week. So please do keep an eye on it. We will need as many views as possible on that video. Okay? I don't often ask for people to share a video, but it will be important that that video is shared as much as possible because we need the view count to be as high as possible to get the impact. Okay? And that is just something I want to share. Now, I've got my cup of tea for tonight in my Star Wars mug, as always. Just catching down in the chat. So that's the situation on that. Okay. Let me just get my browser in order. So, the first few things to talk about tonight. The first thing we're going to talk about, and I have seen a super chat come in, and I'm going to say a thank you to that actually before we go on. I did see a super chat. Thank you to Squirrely. Thank you for that. I'm English and Welsh. Welsh, my friend. I am Welsh. I am from South Wales in the UK. If anyone wants to ask a question via super chat, you are more than welcome. I will answer it as soon as I possibly can. You don't have to give a super chat for me to answer questions, but it will get highlighted if you do. Does the anti-fog spray work? I have not tried it yet, but Ken Dobo has said it does. Yeah, Ken Dobo has said it's made a difference. I think it probably will, but you're going to have to apply it a lot. That's the reality. So, the first thing we need to talk about, and I'm going to go to the overhead, is the Avata, and specifically the FCC hack for this is now available-ish. So, obviously, being in the UK, this drone is limited to CE, as is the European model, and up till now there hasn't really been a hack. There has been one from a French company, but I don't really know them. But we do now have a option for FCC from drone hacks. Now, obviously, you should only ever fly your drone as per the legal requirements in your region. I'm going to turn myself back on. But there is one available from Drone Hacks. It is similar to the DJI FPV drone in the sense of you need to download their companion app. However, there is a slight difference in how the hack works on this than it does the FPV drone. And that difference is, and if I go into what's new, you can see under their latest posts, they've said they've added support for the DJI Avata. And what is different is the FCC hack on this gets reset when the drone gets GPS lock. So the way you've actually got to do it with drone hacks is you shouldn't apply the hack until you've set the GPS home point. Now, the downside to this is you're going to have to do it every single flight. There are people working on this at the moment. However, as it stands via drone hacks, they do have their companion app, which you can put on Android or iOS, and you can use it with the Avata, but you have to apply it every single flight, basically. It will not stay on the drone because for some reason DJI have changed something. That means that hack is reset every time it gets GPS lock. Now, someone has said Drone Tweaks has got one, and I believe they have, but we don't know if they're suffering from the same issue. This has literally just found out. This has just been found out, this issue, and Drone Hacks have changed the website slightly to reflect that. So, for instance, if we go onto Bird Map, you can see that they do now have the Avata here down the bottom, and they tell you what firmware versions it works with, and they've updated the instructions so it reflects that rehack. But you do need to apply it every single time, and basically you need to apply it after the GPS lock. You can apply it before the GPS lock, but when the craft gets its GPS home point, it will reset the FCC back to CE. Now, I haven't tested this myself. I'm going to have to buy a license to try it myself. I do know the guys over at 3DVL are coming up with an option for it as well, as they did last time. That was a free hack. That might be available in the future too. But right now, I think it's Drone Tweaks or Drone Hacks. Drone Hacks is the one I've used in the past, so that's the one I would probably be using. Not that I've ever used any of these. Just checking down on the chat. But Drone Tweaks one resets when you unplug bat. Yeah, that will be the issue. So every bat you need to reapply the hack. Just some random stuff. 100%. Yeah. Every time the home point is reset. So whatever you're doing, powering it on and off, changing battery, every time the home point is reset, it will reset the hack. Drone Tweaks have the same issue. There we go. I think it's really only just been found out. Is there a reason not to run right-hand circular polarized on digital FPV systems? As long as you're using the same polarization on both sides, it's fine. There's no reason you choose one or the other for its ability to ignore the signal from the opposite. The reason you choose left-hand polarized is you want to ignore signals from right-hand polarized antennas. Most people choose left because the majority of the pilots are flying right, or at least that used to be the case. In the old days, left-hand circular wasn't really popular. Today, though, it's a very different matter. All of the DJI stuff up till now has been left-hand circular polarized, which means you're going to have to, get used to it. You just have to have the same on both sides. Junus, the amazing Junus. I need to have a word with you, Junus, as well. You could make a simple USB dongle for like $10 that you pull out before each takeoff. Would you put that in the goggles, or would you put it... Yeah, I'm assuming you put that in the goggles and Junus. That would be cool. So last decade. Bruce is already on square polarization. As long as you choose the same both sides, it doesn't matter. The theory is if two of you are flying next to each other, one of you chooses left, one of you chooses right, you're going to be causing much less interference with each other. That's the theory. Reality is somewhat different anyway. Do we know what GPS the Avata uses? We don't. We will guess it's the same as everything else DJI have used. All of that noise over the Mavic 3 GPS was complete BS anyway. Nothing to do with the chip. The chip was nothing to do with it. It was all hearsay, nonsense, and bullshit. Yeah, they'll still interfere. Exactly, Bruce. Reality is different. There's a lot more stock put into it than there really is. And actually, I'm gonna do a bit of self-promotion in a minute, which I don't normally do on the channel. But this video I'm rather proud of, actually. And I'm gonna go to YouTube before I do it. I start. In preparation for the O3, ordered V2 goggles. When should I apply what the fuck WTF hacks? And should I apply DJI? Right, if you route the goggles before doing anything, the safest thing to do, is route the goggles before doing anything. That is the safest action. When you receive them, if you want to reach out to me and tell me what firmware version they're on, please let me know. Come on my Discord, send me an email, I'll try and help you. But the safest piece of advice, check the version, do the route, and then we go from there. That's the simplest answer right now. Do you think down the line we'll find a permanent solution to apply FCC? Yes, there will be. I suspect there will be. It's very early days. Looks like I'll be using the DJI V1 until I die. Any news with HDZero? Not a lot, but we will talk about that in a minute. Have a beer on me, Lester from above. Thank you, my friend. That's amazing. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, the version 1 system's got onboard audio. Nice feature. Really nice feature. Only with the DJI cameras though. So, okay, so that's the thing with the FCC. It is available. It's there from Drone Hacks. I haven't tried it myself yet. I'd like to have a look at this behavior on the spectrum analyzer, actually, to see it. You know, you apply it, it gets GPS lock, it goes down. Something actually interesting before I move on is, this is the first drone from DJI that actually behaves a lot more like the air units, in the sense of it has a full-on low power mode and reduces the power output as well. Not all of the other DJI drones behave like this. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting indeed. OLED all the way. Brent FPV, I've heard the chip in the Walksnail is more comparable to goggles too. The chip is more... We don't really know what the chip is capable of fully. The Avata chip, it's similar in many ways. They're cousins, is the simplest term to use. Who's better than the other? Right now, Avata has a hell of a long way to go before it's even remotely ready for prime time, as I said in my video in the week, but we'll come on to that probably in this. Because as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this already, the Avata system is still a beta product. Its performance is still very much a beta product. I flew 3 packs through it today, and it's got a lot of work it needs to do. A lot of work. Just to give you a very quick indication of what I mean on this, okay? I'm just going to go back to the desktop. So this is a screenshot from the Avata DVR. I've not touched it. It's not been edited. It's not been adjusted in any way. That is a screenshot from DVR footage looking at me standing there. I'm there, look. You can barely see me. Okay? Now, this is a bright, sunny day, bearing in mind, okay? This isn't a cloudy, horrible day. It's bright and sunny. And now I'm going to show you what DJI looked like. That's from the DJI digital FPV system. Exactly the same conditions. Now, ignoring the compression and stuff a minute, these two are night and day. Literally night and day. You know, that is... No, not a cloud. You could, yeah, I mean, it's sunny. It was quite sunny. But you can see that is all stock. That is no change. That is just how they look. Bright and sunny today. So, yeah, you know, it's got a look to it that needs solving. It's not ready yet. I'm sorry, but it's not ready yet. You know, look, just like I barely noticeable there. And I've just been looking at this footage today that I took on it, and I was just looking. Cool Cat, how are you, my friend? So, Avatar's got a long way to go. A long way to go. There is a new Discord server for the Avatar system with a lot of new mods and stuff, which is interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they're getting on, but it remains to be seen. Are so close. It is funny how they are so close. I agree 100%. So let me just close these down. So that's drone hacks. As I said, there is a solution. I'm going to play with it probably. No, I'm not. I'm not touching it. But there. Okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about before we get on to some other stuff is a little device that's available that allows you to get OSD and OSD data from a plane or drone that doesn't have a flight controller. Now, when I mean OSD data, I mean MSP OSD on DJI and HDZero, and basically Avata as well, because that's the same as HDZero. At least it should be. Now, this little device here, which is available, is called the TBRC HD OSD version 1. It's obviously mostly for fixed wing pilots, but what it allows you to do is get that MSP OSD with basically average cell voltage, total cell voltage, and a flight time. And that's really nice to see. So if anyone out there is a fixed wing user and you're looking to get it, this is available. It's from TBRC Wings. They've just announced it this week, OSD version 1. And I think it's a cool little device, especially for people who are looking to get OSD without having to have a flight controller. And yeah, quite nice to see. Not everyone needs this because Avatar will show some of the voltage, but it is nice to have some of that functionality if you need it. And it is available there as well. So, yeah, I thought that this week and thought, that's a cool little device. A cool little device indeed. Now, alongside this, there's been some new receivers from Radiomaster, which sort of fit into the wing territory. And we've got some nice new ones from Radiomaster, which have servo outputs. I don't know if you guys saw these, but they now have their new ER5C and ER5A Express LRS PWM receivers. Now, I think I'm getting some of these sent to me. I think. But it is really nice to see this. And I'll say this, and Failsafe's just said it. Radiomaster are absolutely smashing it right now with the hardware, and especially the Express LRS hardware as well. I tested their new receivers. They are bob on, absolutely bob on. And it's nice to see some bigger receivers for Express LRS as well. They really are smashing it out the park. They really, really are. And this is going to help the guys who want to move to Express LRS on wings. I think Maytech had one with servo headers as well. But it's nice to see Radiomaster go that way and get on board too. And they're both available now. Price-wise, what are they? $19, $20 on that one. $20 each. Really, really nice. And as someone said, they need to hurry up. They've also got some new coloured gimbals, the AGO ones, For those who haven't seen, they've got their new AG01 gimbals in different colors as well. Rather than being just black, you can now see them in gold, green, blue, red, and purpley pink as well. Happy Model has one too, do they? To be honest, I'm a big fan of the Radiomaster just because it just works. The gear is really good. Really, really good. Yes, that is something. Happy Model have just released their first full diversity receiver. I'm going to order one of them in to have a look. That's an interesting one as well. These receivers are suitable for RC aircraft too, yeah, which is cool. You know, it's going to be nice to see receivers for planes. We haven't seen that for a while, and it's nice. You know, Express ELRS has very much grown up in the sort of quad and wing territory, but not really in planks with planes. So it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that. We do have that full diversity receiver. We'll have a look at that in a minute as well. Just catching up with the chat. Beta FPV have a 5-channel express PW receiver, and they are so easy to brick. Yeah, Beta FPV is just... With remote ID, Bind and Fly is dead. We'll have to wait and see on that. Have I looked at the Miniway ES15? No. John, I'm not going there. So, hello from Zambia. Hello. Made a carb boat, Express RS radio. Yeah. TX16 will do that. Comes with an antenna, use PWF. No. Yeah, so that's the interesting thing. More beta than FPV. Yeah, look, I can't complain. Some of the beta FPV gear, but there's no question some of it's been shocking. Just reading down the chat. 1 second. Now, if you guys have got any questions as I'm going along, please do let me know. Let me just get caught up to where I am. I can start now. Hello, Gary. How are you? Is the OSD the same? Yes. The OSD is the same. Yeah, it's had a whole software update. On the Damien, is the OSD the same in the goggles 2 as it is in the goggles version 2? Is it in the goggles 2? Yes. Yes, it is. It's a firmware update that aligns how it looks, basically. Now, I have flown today, finally, with this thing. Let me go to the overhead. I have finally flown with the DJI Remote 2. Got an Avata battery. Are you AH4 quad's sake? Got an Avata. Are you talking Avata? And battery charging rate is shocking. If it's an Avata, you need to use a fast enough USB charger. It's no good using a standard USB charger. It needs to be a 65 watt. I'm charging mine on a fast charge USB, and it's dumping the current in. Absolutely flying. It's not the quickest, but it's not the slowest in the world. What are you saying long time to charge? That's what I'd be interested in, because I've seen a few people post this, and I think if you're comparing it to a LiPo that you can dump it in half an hour, it's not going to be the same. But it isn't terrible in my tests. You know, if we look at this, 1 second, go to the overhead. So I've been using this. Now I'm using the Toolkit RC, which is over here. Let me just grab it. Let me just turn it on. Bring it forward and turn it on. 1 second. 2 seconds. Let me just get my charger. Now, I have a power adapter as well. Now, the only downside to this is, okay, so we plug this into here. We got this, and we want C to C. My C2C cable's gone walks. 1 second. I took it out with me today and it's now vanished. We'll have a look at what the charge rate shows. Why is it things vanish when you want them? That'll do. That's a C2C. There we go. This isn't the one I was using, but it is a C2C. Right, let's go overhead. Now, this battery isn't flat, but it is... it's 3/4 charged. So, just reminding myself of what the capacity is on this thing. Is it 2,400? I think it's 2.4. So we're going to plug that in there. We'll go in. And we'll wait a sec. So my charger's gone to 20 volt. And it's going up 1, 2, 2.2. So we're charging at 2.2 amp at 19.4 volt. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Let me just zoom in. There you go. So that's 2.2 amp. At 19.4. So that's a fair charge rate. That's not terrible. You know, off the top of my head, I can't remember what the capacity is on this battery. DJI. Just have a look. That is really not terrible. Specs. Max of the cable. Yeah, we're pretty much, we're pretty much there. Where's the battery capacity on this? Intelligent flight battery. So 2,420. So we're virtually charging at full charge. Because remember, that's at 19.4 volt and the battery's 17 volts. So, this is reading in what's going into the charger. So you've got to take that into account. We're at 2.2 amp at 19.4 volt. We're probably at 1C of the cells internally. So you have to have the right charger. It's all about the charger. Now, I'm using the Toolkit RC power supply here. That's what I'm using. But yeah, having a charger that will dump the right amount into it is the important part. That's the real important part of this, if that makes sense. You can get these. Someone asked, where do I get it? You can get these on Amazon and places like that. This is a multi one, so just go to the overhead. This has standard USB and USB-C. So depending on which way you want to measure, it's got both. So yeah, very handy bit of kit. Very handy bit of kit. Especially if you want to check what the charge rate of something is. So very handy indeed. But yeah, if you're getting very slow charge rates, I suspect it's not liking the protocol. What I didn't look is what the protocol was. 1 second. Let me do it again, because this will even tell me the charge protocol, if it's power delivery or QC, because this does both. Let's just go on the overhead. So if I go through on this screen, it will tell me, which one is it? Yeah, power delivery. Fast power delivery protocol. And it's got various modes you can set on it. And then you can also go into Chinese as well. But yeah, so it's set in power delivery mode. There we go. So, just gives you an idea. So yeah, get yourself one of them. If you're not sure, get yourself one of them. Not related to anything, but your studio setup is It is really well, and you framed your main camera and overhead nicely. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. 404 if you 440 if you want 3-phase. Thank you for that. Is it having trouble balancing? Chances are it's the charger. Chances are it's the charger. If it's not getting enough guts in it, it's not getting enough time in it. If it's taking hours, you need plenty of USB power. Just reading down on the chat. My ES21 is also slow like the ES22. The reason is willing to spend another $100 on a minimum screwdriver faster top speed. Sorry, that's just me reading through the comments. Okay. So, that was the Express LRS receivers. That was that. Now, guys, if you've got any chat, please, comments in the chat, please do let me know. So, what I was talking about was this, the overhead. And I have to zoom back out now. And I'm going to have to straighten that camera because that looks terrible. There we are. So, I have finally got the remote for the DJI Avata. Came this week. Had a few flights on it today. I'll be honest, there's a lot I'm not happy with. I've flown with this thing before, but there's a few bits that do my head in on it. I've ordered extended sticks from Amazon because the sticks are just too short for me. I like long ones. What's really frustrating on this remote is if you want to swap between acro and traditional DJI mode, you need to mess with the screws. A bit frustrating. It really, really is. But yeah, it's arrived. I'm not a big fan of it. It's not the worst remote. It's not the best remote. I just need a bit more length on the sticks, really. That's the issue. Mate paid 50 quid. I paid full retail price for this. I had this brand new, had to pay full retail, unfortunately. Now, I actually have a video coming out on this tomorrow, and that video is how to set this up with the Avata, because, and I'll say that quickly now, if you get this, it will not bind to the Avata until you update the firmware on this, and you need to update it via Assistant 2 for FPV and not via the Fly app, because it doesn't have the firmware on it that it needs to be able to communicate with the Avata drone. So if you get one of these and it won't bind, you need to download the Assistant for FPV, connect this to that, and then you'll be able to bind it to the drone. But yeah, I've ordered third-party joysticks because they're just so short. It's ridiculous. I flew a bit with it today. Cool, the rain is heavy here tonight. I don't know if you can hear it. I can't say, I'll be honest, genuinely, in FPV mode, I think I prefer the motion controller. I flew in acro a very, very short period of time, and I wasn't happy simply because of how short the sticks are. I just couldn't get the throttle movement I wanted. It's too much. I'm up, down, left, right. It was also windy as hell here today. But yeah, I need more length on the stick. For my precision, I need a bit more length on the stick. I did try it in acro, and it was just all over the place just because of how windy it was. The motion controller is quite interesting in the sense of you get used to sort of flowing with it. Flying it with this remote is a very different experience. And I don't know, in some ways, I think I could be tempted. I lowered the rates massively. Stock one's absolute garbage. Yeah, I might need to look at that. It was a bit much for the short stick throw for me. I do remember, I'm sure, was it even look at the motion controller since. Interesting. They should stay linked. Wouldn't it? Drew said the rates were very high. Can I use the same controller for the Potato and the Avata without rebinding? I don't know genuinely on that one. What I can say is you can use both the motion controller and this remote without rebinding. You just turn it on with whatever remote and it will connect. Can I add a couple of bolts? Unfortunately, no. The way the DJI threads are, you need special sticks. Unfortunately, you could have bolts on it and make some sticks, but they do make longer ones. I've ordered them on Amazon. Where is it? Let me find it here. They're available. They're 4 varying DJI models. Here we go. If I just put this up, here you are. You can get these. They're like 12 quid. They're not the cheapest, but they're like 12 quid, and they allow you to have extra throw, and you got extra adjustment on them. Then that there tells you just the difference. You've got standard original stick length. You've got the minimum on that, which is 1.1 inch compared to 0.47. So it's quite a substantial difference there. And then you can go all the way up to 1.38. Yeah, there was like 3 quid difference between this and AliExpress. And in the end, I just thought for 3 quid, I don't want to wait 3 weeks. It was that simple. I think it was like £8 or £9 on AliExpress, and it was £12 in the UK from Amazon. So I was like, I may as well just do that. If it helps, use Roll 30. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have a look at that in a minute. It made precision flying much nicer. Yeah, I was a bit shocked how lively it was in Acro, and it was blowing a sodding gale today. An absolute gale here. Whilst it was nice, it was very, very windy. And I hopped into Acro and I was like, oh, whoa. I just couldn't get comfortable with it. Now, the stick throw was part of the problem because I'm just not feeling it as I like to. If I go to the overhead, I'm sort of a semi-pincher like that. And I was just sort of I like a bit more length, gives me a bit more precision and a bit more ability to move the stick. But I didn't mess with the rates. I'm going to copy and paste them. But I did find... it doesn't do well in winds at all. No. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to copy them down. They're handy to have. Thank you, mate. I got to find somewhere to paste them now. Notepad. But yeah, it does seem very lively in rate mode out the box. I was a bit surprised at that. Just saving that to downloads. I'll have a look at that later. Is the 1200 hack working on the Walksnail system? Jimmy Throt. Yes, I have visually seen the 1200 milliwatt change. I can't tell you the output because measuring digital output is extremely difficult. But I can tell you that it is higher than all of the other numbers. I messed with them rates to match my Cinelog 30 feel. So you might feel it a bit too slow. To be honest, I don't want the Avata to be very, very fast. I don't want the Avata to be very, very fast. I was a bit shocked how fast it was when I went into Acro. I was like, ooh, everything's a bit lively. And I forgot Drew had actually said that as well. So yeah, someone had a question. Do you have to use longer M3 screws? And I did. If I'd have had M3 screws, Sang, I would have made them. Genuinely, I sat here going, I've got 3D printed stick ends already. They're here. But I've ran out of M3s. So I've got these. I 3D printed these on, where's the overhead? I've shown these on the channel before. I 3D printed these on the resin printer. So we've got those ones, and we've got these ones in flexible resin. Look at these. These are actually flexible resin prints. However, I've got no M3 bolts, so I couldn't do it. Use M3 standoffs with main threads. Yeah, flexible resin. It does exist. It does exist. That is made from it there. Just to show you, squeezing them. I have another part here in flexible resin. Where's it vanished to? I've lost it. That's weird. Should have been on my bench, but it's vanished. I also have something else in flexible resin, but it's not where it should be. Aha, here it is. Sorry, over here. This is made in flexible resin as well, this race standoff. And if I just show you, it's fully flexible, 3D resin printed. Let me get the remote out of the way. Fully flexible. You can squeeze it, but it has that precision of resin. So this stuff is available. Yeah, I've run out of M3s, unfortunately. I've got everything else, but just not M3s. Holy moly. TPU. I haven't slid it across. It doesn't feel like TPU. It's TPU is more springy. This is more stiffer. Crashing far away. Just checking down on the comments. Meanwhile, you're passing 12-minute naked Vista without an issue. Yeah, the Vista still ends up pretty well. So, I've had to order stick ends for that DJI remote. Hopefully they'll be here this week. I need to mess with the rates, and hopefully that'll tame it a little bit. I'll have a look at that, and then we'll go from there. Works fine for about 10 minutes, and then on the bench, and then dies. No, Mr. Gem. Is it Mr. Gem? So, is it common that a Vista with a Nebula Pro Nano works fine for about 10 minutes, set up on the bench, then dies? No red LED or green on the bottom board, just heats up quickly. I would say, are you sure it's not a power issue? Works fine for about 10 minutes, set up on the bench, and then dies. Remember, the Vista needs cooling. All of the DJI units need cooling. So, have you got low power mode turned on or off? Because if it's off, then it's going to cook itself. They are not designed to sit there with no cooling at all. Can I update any Express ELRS module to version 3? As long as the target is in there, yes. It sounds like it's hitting its thermal overload. Why are you leaving it 10 minutes on the bench? That's a long time. That's a very long time. It will cook itself, even at low RF power. It will cook itself. 25 minutes. Oh, it will cook itself. Yeah, that's absolutely normal. It needs airflow. It needs airflow. I have one of these. Where's she gone? For working on the bench, I made this. So this is a 12-volt PC fan. Don't worry about the voltage. She'll go 6S, no problem at all. I've done it already. But I've then soldered an XT60 male and female together as a pass-through. And then it's just soldered to it. And I use this on the bench all of the time for cooling. It's perfect. It's just a standard 12-volt PC fan made by Corsair. It's a quality one. She does get quite warm sometimes. But look, if I go over here, I've got an XT60 here from the power supply on the bench. I plugs that in, and I got a pass-through as well, so we can pass through into the device. And then if I turn it on, that's currently at 16.4 volt, and she just runs. Absolutely fine. Perfect for updating the firmware. Perfect for doing anything on the bench. Just a basic PC fan. Nice and easy. And then turn it off. And it's ready to go. Highly recommend having something like this. Highly, highly recommend. And if you have it with an XT60, yeah, you can just plug it in and use it off your battery or use it off whatever you're powering it on. Absolute must have on the bench. It's always within arm's reach. It's always within arm's reach for me. Full bit video on Ian's OnlyFans page. Yeah. Now, if you've got any questions, please do put them in the chat. We'll try and answer them. Do I think it was heat? Yeah, I don't think it was heat. It will shut down. It will shut down if there's not good cooling. Is it shutting down in flight? Is the question. How much did I manage? Oh, Mike. Sorry, he wasn't talking to me. Right. I was just going to promote something. I don't often do this. But let me just find something. I did a video this week, which is a bloody good video. And if you haven't seen it and you want to learn a bit more about antennas, and I don't usually do this, This video, I'll be honest, there's been some good content on this channel in the last 2 weeks. It won't last, but there has been some good content on the channel for the last 2 weeks. If I just show you guys, right? We've got the anti-fog video, the teardown. This video here, FPV antennas, what does it all mean? If you want to know more about antennas, I made that video in sort of not cooperation with, but with a lot of support from Hugo at True RC. I've been talking to Hugo back and forth for months, and we discussed some other things, and I wanted to put a video out on antennas, and if you haven't seen it, that antenna video is well worth a look. Because if you want to learn more about what SWR means, what antenna is all about, it's all in there. And that's an evergreen video, that one. That one will burn forever. We also discussed the Express RS crystal oscillator thing, if you haven't seen it. Oh my God, listen to the rain. Oh, you can't hear it. My noise gate is cancelling it. It's really bad here tonight. But yeah, do check that one out if you want to know more. And then we've had an update on the Avatar system as well, which I put out. I don't often promote. But yeah, there's been some good video. The last sort of week, 10 days, there's been some really good videos on the channel, if I say so myself. Problem is, I got very little in for next week. That's the problem. So don't keep your hopes up. That is going to continue. What's Bruce saying? A choice of antennas is very polarizing. Yes, Bruce, it really is. Okay, hello, Gary. Not Gary. Hello, Sean. I saw you pop in. How are you, my friend? Had to laugh when Pavel said Mad was milking Avatar. This is an interesting subject. And I've had this discussion this week. And someone posted something that bloody annoyed me yesterday. I'll be honest, I'm not going to go into it any more than that, but it was another creator, and I thought they were taking the mickey, if I'm honest. And it's funny. When you make content, people go, you're milking it, or you've only put this video out to get clicks. Now, it's quite funny that YouTube is about getting your video seen. So if someone says, do you make a video just to get clicks? Well, I make a video for it to get seen. I'd rather a video was seen than it wasn't seen. I'd rather a video was sitting on 10,000 views than 100 views, because at least, hopefully, the message you're trying to portray has got across. And something I will say is, every video I make, I do for a message. There is something I want to say, whether that's because I feel I want to say it or I feel there's a message in there for the users. But there's always a message in there somewhere. So when people say you only make, it's all clickbait. Well, every video is clickbait. Now, titles are a bit subjective, or thumbnails. Titles and thumbnails. If someone baits you in and they don't even deliver, then that's bad. I've got no issues with sort of clickbaity thumbnails and titles as long as the content delivers. At the end of the day, I have no issues being baited into clicking something if I come out of that video going, yeah, I actually learned something. That's what it is. Whereabouts am I in the UK? I'm in South Wales. Bruce, yeah. Bruce just posted the ultimate clickbait title. That is the perfect clickbait title. But yeah, and look, here's the ultimate clickbait video. Do you want me to show you the ultimate clickbait video in FPV? I'll show it to you now. I'll show you the ultimate clickbait video in FPV and drones. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Russian helicopter, unexpected ending. And you know what? That video, some bloke Some bloke made that video. Ultimate clickbait. But I tell you what, I came out of that video going, that was great. Strike. But yeah, you know what? That was clickbait. 1.8 million views. And I'll be honest, it was an amazing video. So that's the thing, right? Clickbait is fine as long as it delivers something. Clickbait should be like a joke. Think of clickbait like a good joke. Clickbait should be misdirection and delivering a punchline. That's what it should be. The only problem with having clickbait is if it doesn't deliver, and that's where I have a thing. But no. There was something I just saw that wound me up, and it shouldn't have, but it did. And it's like, it's funny. You get a lot of people say hate, and people say, like, oh, you're only doing this for clicks, you're only doing this for views. Because every bloody video is for views. Every video is for views. But it's got to deliver. And there's something that annoys me. This is a #1 pet hate. Today, I am going to be the one that tells you the truth about how this is. I'm the one that's going to tell you the real truth. I'm the one that's going to tell you exactly how it is. Now, I have often played and do play the independent card because I am. But that doesn't mean I sit there and say others are not telling the truth. Okay, if we're talking about the million channels and they're trying to sell you this, well, I think we all know what the score is on that. But other creators, we all have our place. We all have our niche. We all have our hole. And there's no need to start making content that's like, I'm the one that's going to tell you the whole truth, because you're implying others are not. And we're starting to see that in FPV a little bit, unfortunately. But that is what it is. That is what it is. I think, genuinely, there's a bit of contraction. There's a bit of probable... Look, FPV is only so big. There's loads of space for lots of creators in it, but people also need to create. And when it comes to, here's an example. There are 50 videos about these goggles. So how do you get your video seen above everyone else's? Now, what you can say is, I'm going to tell you the real truth about this product, not like everyone else. Or you can say, I'm going to give you my opinion, which may differ quite a bit to everyone else's. So there are ways of doing things. And that's where my argument is. And I've seen some stuff in recent times which I just think is, watch this video before you buy. I think that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I'm going to tell you some things others may not have told you. That's fine. But don't say things like, I'm the only one really telling you the truth. You can, if it's the £1 million viewers, it's different. But, it's quite funny. You can have a product, right? So here's an example. And actually, this is a really good example. I put out probably 8 videos on probably 5 videos on our Avata when it released. And then Andy come out with like a big video afterwards, which everyone went, oh, it's fantastic. He's covered everything in one thing. Now, the thing is, you can either sort of wait for everything to become clear and then make a video with it all in, or you sort of find it out as you go along and then drip feed that out. Now, no way is better or worse. It's just a different way of doing it. So I do find it interesting because people, Andy's an amazing guy. I love Andy. I talk to Andy a bit in the background. I've not met him yet. We're going to meet. Andy put out a great video on the Avatar system. And everyone was like, oh, he's the one that's told you everything. It's easy to do that 3 weeks after launch. if you're the guy making a video on week 1, you know, they're in my hand today. We're going to learn about this today, is how I do the content on this channel. I don't hold back for weeks. We put it out. But you've got to take into account they are different ways of doing it. Madmanix FPV, it's an interesting comment. See, I don't agree that. There is no best reviewer in FPV. Everyone has a different perspective. No one person is better than the other. I see interesting things like that where people say one person's the best. No one's the best. Everyone has a perception. Everyone has an opinion. They will all be different. Everyone who tries these goggles will tell you something different because their perception of them is different. I'm not saying Andy or anyone else isn't very good at what they do. But no one person is right. So when you're buying a product, it's about taking the views of many people and then building your opinion from that. There is no one person who's righter or wronger than anyone else. Some are more truthful. Let's not pretend that isn't the case. Some are gloss over things. Some won't go into in depth. So if you take the big paid channels, they tell you what you want to hear. They're selling you a vision of what the product can do. So if you take these big reviews, they're not reviews. They're basically showing you what, it's a showcase. They're not reviews. I take a bit of a different opinion. I go in and tell you, here, this is what I found, or this is the bits I'm concentrating on. But what you've got to do is take a whole picture. Now, everyone is biased, okay? Everyone has bias. Regardless of what they tell you, everyone has bias. You have unconscious bias. Everyone has that. I prefer this. I prefer that. That's my opinion, but it's also an unconscious bias as well. You know, so one person would say, oh, I've never liked Fat Shark goggles. That's an unconscious bias. There could be a set that are perfect for you. But your bias is, oh, I've never found a set that are good for me. So it is about taking into account multiple people's opinions. It's not about one person is better than another. I wouldn't even say one person is more professional than another. Everyone is, you know, look, you've got to take into account if someone is here's a very simple rule. And this sort of puts me in a slightly different position to everyone else. If you need to make money from YouTube, then you're limited in how far you can really go in what you say. I'll be genuinely honest about that. I think and this is an opinion, but if you need to make money and work with manufacturers, then you have to sometimes temper your opinion. I don't have that problem, hence the reason I say what I want to say, because of you amazing people. And Bot Grinder's actually in that position as well. Bot Grinder's slightly different. He doesn't care because he has a massive Patreon support. But look, some people like working with manufacturers. That isn't something that happens a lot. For me, I don't work with a lot of manufacturers. So that's the situation. No one is better or worse than anyone else. No one is righter or wronger than anyone else. Everyone has their take on things. Everyone has their opinion. That's the thing to understand. So, yeah, that's the thing. There's not one person I think is bad. There's not one person I think is good. But what I have noticed in FPV a little bit is I think there's a bit of... I think there's starting to be a bit of people trying to step over each other to try and clamber what there is. We've seen a drop-off in sales. We've seen a drop-off in stuff. I said something, I'll say this here openly. Someone accused me the other day of saying some things to promote my brand. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't have a brand. I'm not in this to become a YouTuber or make huge amounts of money. I do this because I enjoy it. I do this because I want to do it. But I could end it tomorrow because it doesn't pay my bills. It doesn't pay my mortgage. Nothing from this channel ends up in my pocket. Yes, I benefit from it through product, but that doesn't mean I pay the bills. So we're all in a different position. Sean accused me, right? No, I'm not going to say that. I was going to get myself into trouble then, Sean. Ah, there we go. So anyway, that's my thought. Oh, you see what he's done there? See what Bruce has done there? You sound like Dobo, Ian. Yeah, Ken's quite interesting. Ken's a bit more extreme than me. I'll be honest. Ken would just tell everyone to F off. Ken is a bit more extreme than me. So, that's that little rant. But yeah, it's a shame we're starting to see some people crap on each other just to think. It's late. Hello, Spotted Love. How are you, my friend? Pigeon jerky. But it is what it is. Anyway, so guys, Ken needs to release more drone crash compilations. Ken has, I will say this, Ken Dobo has absolutely smashed the Avata launch. And I mean, absolutely nailed it. Better than any other creator. Hands down, has absolutely kicked ass across the board. Across the board. He really has. And it's the sheer number of videos, the sheer quantity of videos. It is incredible, the amount of stuff he put out. He really did. He has smashed it. Hello, Jake. How are you? Jake Sloan. For those who haven't seen, Jake is amazing content creator, lives in an amazing place. Thank you, my friend. I think Ken might be the most extreme YouTuber. Lol, he is. For Ken is quite funny. I have great content late. I appreciate that. I'll be honest. I've had a good 2 weeks. Even I've sat back and gone, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm pleased with that. Can't be that good. We got half the amount of viewers than we had last week, though. So you can see I'm already on the trip down. See, Sean, it doesn't laugh. And Mr. Bot Grinder himself is here. Hello, my friend. So, okay. If there's any questions, please do put them in the chat. I'll try and answer them. From a content point of view, I think that's pretty much what I've put together. I kept it quite quiet this week. Look, I shared my thoughts in the middle of the week with Avatar. It's so complicated. Bloody Avatar, Avata. Come on. Okay. 03. We got to talk about 03. It's coming. It's coming the end of the month. Okay. Some questions I've been asked, and I can't really answer them because I don't know. Do I lose Cadex Vista connectivity by updating V2? No. You might need to rebind, but be very careful updating your V2 goggles, just in case you won't get the hacks available anymore. If you have to update it to get this thing working, then make sure you perform the root hack first. So 03 is the OcuSync 3A unit. We know it's coming. It's around the corner. I can't remember if I shared these images last week. I just don't recall. Let me just check. Let me just find them. 2 seconds. Because I've lost them. We now pretty much know what the new DJI unit's going to look like. And not only that, I even know the size now. And that's an exclusive for you. But we have, let me just find the pictures. I don't know if I shared these last week. I've lost track of what I've shared and what I haven't now. But we now have a good idea of what the new air units look like. It's basically the same size as a Vista, folks. About 1.5 mil taller than a Vista. Don't you hate it when all of the images you want vanish? Where are they? So many posts. Here we go. Here we go. Da-da-da-da-da. Say hello to the new O3 ear unit. So this is it. Bot grinder frame soon, under 2 weeks. Nice. We'll talk about that in a minute, bot. So this is the O3 ear unit. It is basically the same size as a Vista, guys. I'm hearing the info I have is 1.5 mils taller. That's it. That is it. Now, what we've got here in this image is a Vista compared to it. That's Vista. That's not the new ear unit. This is the new ear unit, side and side. This is the Vista. Size-wise, basically the same size as a Vista, 1.5 mil taller. 1.5 mil taller. That's what we believe. This is believed to have the same image quality of the O3 system. It is believed to have the Eagle 3 Plus chipset on board. It's believed to basically be what is in the system. There won't be a fan in there. There'll be no fan in there. Now, I'll be honest. If this is what people think it's going to be, it's going to give some real problems to everyone else. I'll be honest. It's going to really stir things up. Really stir things up. It really is. But that's it. It's around the corner. It's coming. We believe it's going to be V2 compatible, 20mm camera, 4K 60 recording. We don't 100% know the ins and outs, but basically, the basics are, it's basically what's in this. It's basically this. We're going to have to wait and see the exact details, but it is basically that. So it's coming. It's coming, folks. It's coming. Genuinely, it's not far off. MDK 420. If you asked that question on my channel, I have answered it. I think you'll be all fine cutting the power cable and resoldering it as long as you keep it the same, but I've not done it. Am I keeping the Avata? Yes. I won't be sending it back. Not just simply because of some of the things I've done to it. SD card, we believe, yes. Ear Unit 3 depends on pricing. We do believe to about $250, but we don't know for sure. Let me just catch up on the chat. Hello, Curry Kitten. How are you? So Bot's frame is around the corner. We will come on to that in a minute. Feel free to send it to me. I'll do the review for you. Can you use it with DJI FPV remote? We don't know. Okay. What we know is it has the same 2.4 gig receive option as the Ear unit. As the Avata drone. That would imply yes, but we don't know for sure. But it would imply yes, but it is not being confirmed. There is an FCC hack for the Avata drone now, but nothing specific for the goggles too. Anyway, with the Avata, I think when I say it's going to stir things up, it's going to stir up the. There is no GPS inside. It's going to steer up the digital side of things. And I'll be honest, Avatar really has to pick their shit up quick because it ain't going to stand. If this comes out like this, they're going to have to drop the price of that system pretty bloody quickly. Be prepared. It might not happen, but be prepared for a possible price drop on Avatar if this launches. it's clear to me Walksnail rushed Avatar out and wanted that out before DJI. That's clear. But if the image is anything like we're seeing on the Avata drone, honestly, it's splendid. But it won't be perfect. There will be quirks. There's some stuff we know already. But it is going to shake things up. Going to shake things up, to say the least. And it's a good time for FPV. Look, guys, all of this makes a really good time for FPV. You got a lot of choice right now. You got HDZero, you've got Avatar, you've got DJI Original, and you're gonna have DJI 03. It's gonna be a good time for digital FPV. And look, you don't have to fly digital. You can be a man like our man down there and still be on analog. It doesn't thing. The Avata doesn't power loop particularly well. I have tried it. I'd be shocked if the battery's falling out because it's quite hard to get in and out for me, but it lacks power. It does lack recovery power. But I do think you could have a price drop on Avatar if DJI dropped this, so just be warned on that. Just be warned. If you're considering it, I would wait for DJI to release, because that is again going to be market disruptive, and when something's market disruptive, it has an effect. And look, DJI have got the V2 goggles at $400 odd at the moment. With this air unit, it's going to be cheaper than buying it with these bloody things. So, you know, it definitely doesn't power loop well. It goes over, but it's the recovery phase. As I learned today, it struggles a little bit. So, Bot, you have a new frame. You got any pictures? Is it on your website? Where is it? Is there a video? I haven't looked. Yeah, it doesn't seem to... Leaks in your video and Izzy's. Okay. Curry Kitten, yeah, it seems to get washed out is the right term. It has a lot of power, but it does feel like a washout as a result of the ducts. It goes over, it's got tons of power, but when you're trying to recover, it's like I've got as much throttle as I can and I'm not gaining as much height as I can. Here's the easiest way to think. You know when you have a good 5-inch and there's a point where you slam the throttle and it just moves? This just doesn't. I wouldn't say it's worse than any other Cinewhoop, but it's quite heavy as well. This is the thing. She's a bit heavier than most of the Cinewhoops I've flown. Most of my Cinewhoops aren't this heavy, so they've got a bit more of that grunt. But I don't say it's definitely not underpowered, but it does wash out. You saw it in Drew. Drew mentioned it. You know, they did a few, and it like it. I think it washes itself out, is what it seems to do. It seems to wash it. That's probably the term to use. And you see it in the Rotor Riot video. They show it as well. You get it go over, and they did a few things, and it just couldn't recover itself. I do wonder if it's a result of the mass as well. Not necessarily underpowered, but remember, they're only small props. But people are doing silly things. You know, look, here's a video here. I was watching this earlier. Have I got it here? Where is it? I was watching a video earlier. Have I still got it up? No, it's not that one. Where is it? DJI Avata high wind test, right? There's a video by DC Rainmaker. It's a good video. Genuinely, I'm not slagging it off or nothing like that. DC Rainmaker, Avata high wind test. Oh, let me mute it. You know, this is bloody ridiculous. This drone is not designed for this. Out over the sea in crazy winds. It's on that angle because of the winds. He flips it. Yeah, I did see that, Bruce. It flips. You know, it's not designed for this, guys. People are saying, how far will it fly? It's not designed for it. I flew it in not this windy conditions today, and it wasn't fun. I'll be honest. Look at it. Look at the angle it's having to fly on to actually just get into the wind. It's crazy, you know, and it's not designed for this. So be careful with it. You're gonna lose it if you do this. But he was flying it back and it power looped on itself. Where is it? I don't know if you've seen this. I can't remember where in the video it is. And it actually power loops itself into the wind. He was going down, weren't they? Here we go. On this bit of the video here. Oh, did I just miss it? There you go with it. So we're going to do there. There we go. So he was going into the wind. And it actually does a full power loop. He adjusts it or does something. Wait for it. Here we go. And it did a power loop. Itself. A flip. And righted itself. Now, I have seen... It's not a power loop, it's a flip. It did a flip. I'm saying the word power loop. I'm thinking power loop, but I'm thinking flip, and I'm saying power loop. Now, we have seen... And this is something I have observed on this aircraft, okay? If anything that disturbs it above a point, it cuts the motors. I noticed this. So, and the only reason I tell you I noticed this, two things I've noticed it. Remember the leaked footage of the guy who lost his with the wave hit it and it killed the motors and it drowned? If you didn't see that one before launch, someone had a video where he was flying through, the wave caught it and it just went over and down. If you hover this and grab it, right, and you do that with your hand, she'll cut the motors. Once you turn it, she's cut. So anything disturbs this frame enough, it will cut the motors. Now, what happened with him, obviously, is it cut the motors and it had enough height to recover itself and carry on. But if you were low level, it would crash. But you'll notice if you've got one of these, grab it, you know, hover it and just grab it and touch it, she'll just shut down. So a decent knock on this, it's going to shut its motors down and potentially flip. So a tree or something like that, it will do it. But that was crazy wind. Let's be honest, that was crazy wind. Lower than that, and it would have been in the drink. 100%. And that's what happened to the guy in the early reviews. A guy had one in the early reviews, and he caught a wave, and it just flipped. It just went, whoop, straight over. Oh, thank you for the super chat. 99. Thank you, Marcus. That's incredible. I really appreciate that, my friend. That's brilliant. Thank you for that. Auto disarm instead of bounce and flip. You must send me the manual so I will read it. Thank you, DJI President. I appreciate that. You can send me some spare batteries. That would be nice. Don't all of them shut off like that? Yeah, they do. But I tell you what I've noticed. You take a Mavic. My Mavic 2 fights a lot harder than this. Genuinely. I hand catch an Inspire 2. That fights you as well. The Mavics don't cut off anywhere near as much as this. This seems a lot more sensitive to cutting off. Same cut off as Mini. That's interesting. So the bigger aircraft fight a bit more. The Mavic bloody 2, you'll grab it and it'll be... You can turn it on its side and it starts fighting you. Tello does better flips. I have a Tello behind me. I need a new battery for my Tello, though. Is it sub 250? God, no. No, not remotely. What's it, 450 grams? What is it? Officially. Let's just remind myself. I think it's 410 takeoff weight. Oh, wow. Thank you, Blackbug Digital. We'll wait until October so we have reviews. Thank you for that, my friend. That's incredible. I don't know what they are, but it's incredible. Let me find the... You must wait and get Chinese knockoff or wait Chinese... Yeah, I'd like some more batteries. Haven't been able to order them in the UK yet. Haven't been able to get them here yet. Sub 250 on the moon. Yes. Not in the UK. YouTube harassing me again, everyone, to put an ad in. While I remember, there are 264 of you amazing, fantastic, unbelievably amazing people here. Please do give this stream a like if you have found it interesting. What will happen in a couple of weeks when the Avatar needs SID fitted as standard? Yeah, I don't know, Bruce. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I can see all of that being... Oh, thank you, Mike. That's incredible. Any news on DJI 3? We discussed that a little bit just now. Abdul, little bit just now. 96 likes. Can we hit 100? Can we hit 100? We have to please the great analytic. Only by pleasing the great analytic will this channel be allowed to continue. The great analytic is a nightmare. Ah, thank you, everyone. That's brilliant. What are the best low-profile Omnis for DJI V2? True RC, singularities. To be honest, pretty much True RC are the best antennas I've used overall. They're very, very good. They're very, very good. Thank you, Marcus. Again, that's incredible. Mate, you're amazing. Saving me money right now. Thank you for that. Going for 200. Come on, chaps. iFlight crystals do a good job. Yeah, I have heard some real solid reports, though, of people choosing the XA2s and getting dramatically better results. In fact, the X2As, not the XA2s. The X2A2. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Johnny Mac. That's brilliant. Likes don't have live updates. I had to re-enter the video. Ah, that's weird. True RC. 100% True RC. You won't go wrong with True RC antennas. Genuinely, I've used more of them than anything else, and they are very, very good. I have heard, yeah, the Axie HD patches are very good as well. I think they're based on a True RC design, if I recall. True RC are expensive, but here's something interesting. With True RC, what you're paying for is every antenna has been independently tested. How good is the tune of the Avata? It's a bit lively in rate mode. In GPS mode, it flies absolutely lovely. It's a little bit lively in rate mode for that remote. The Avata goes so much further than your DJI units. Can't wait to see that hit the market. Aftermarket antennas, definitely. Aftermarket antennas are going to make a big difference. As will FCC hack, most likely. So, what I didn't do, we need to find this. Bot Grinder has told us he's got a new frame. So, it would only be the right thing for me to do is... So if you're here, Bot, when is the... Why is my keyboard not working? Bot Grinder. Bot Grinder has a new frame, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Which video? He said he's given us a hint in one of his videos. When YouTube wakes up for me. Oh, I've ended up on his website. Oh, have I ended up on his website? I haven't watched... Let me have a look. Videos. He forgets which one he showed it in. I think I saw the video you hinted it in, and I can't remember which one it is either. Let him go see which one it is. He'll tell us. I vaguely remember, but I can't remember. 3 sats ago. Little Bot Grinder, hello. 3 sats ago. Which one is 3 sats ago? 3 weeks ago. Is it the Bando rooftop video? Because that's the one 3 weeks ago. Can't remember which one it is. Just waiting to see if Bot finds it. My phone just vibrated. No, I thought that might have been a message. There's one with a phantom. Thank you, Mikkel. Willow 3 fit in normal frames. By the way, I use the ruler a lot. Oh, thank you for that. Evoke. Right, will the O3 ear unit? The O3 ear unit is basically the same size as a DJI Vista. So if you can get a Vista in, it needs a little bit more height. It appears to be virtually the same size. Do I think we could see interchangeable lenses? Not sure. Any pictures of it on your... what's the story with the new ELRS? What do you mean the new ELRS? Any news about the Avata FCC hack? I talked about that at the start. There is an FCC hack now, everything compilations with drone hacks. It is available. However, you need to perform the hack every flight after you have had GPS lock. If you want to know about that, it's at the start of the video. Don't go until I finish the stream. But when I finish the stream, go back to the start of the video, scrub through, and I walk you through it. Have I tried the Thumb Pro? Yes, I am flying it at the moment. I need to do a review on it. It's okay. It's decent if you want something better than the camera that's on. Here's what I would say with the Thumb Pro is this. It's decent with Avata and DJI FPV system version 1. If this O3 system looks as we think it looks, there's no point. Avata vs Thumb Pro, night and day. Not remotely close. Avata is hands down better. Hands down better. Avata is 95% GoPro, in my opinion. Avata is 95% a GoPro. The Thumb Pro isn't that. The Thumb Pro isn't that. It's better than what you get on DJI. What I would order things like would be DJI. Okay, I got to get Instagram up now. DJI, then Thumb Pro, then right, now I've got to answer. Here we go. I have received some stuff. So now, right, give me 2 minutes, folks. Oh, this man is an animal. This man is an absolute animal. He really is. Also, the pornography he sent me as well is most welcome. That was a bonus. I wasn't expecting a picture like that. Whew. Couldn't imagine you'd stick it there. Right, let me just send them to where I need to get them. Right, 2 seconds. I just got to move them from my phone to my computer. Takes me a second to do this stuff. Big reveal on Mads Tech. Right. 2 seconds. Create a folder. Call it bot. I've got to shove it on my network drive. Upload the images so I can get to it from my PC because I'm a PC and a Mac and it does my editing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. They'll be there in 2 minutes, and then we'll have them. Did someone say, Curry Kitten, hands up if anyone can get decent results from Thumb Pro on anything but Cinewoop because it's kicking me out of vibrations. Yes, I'm getting vibrations as well, Curry. Nothing I've done has solved them. There's a reason I haven't made the video yet. Just waiting for them to transfer. JB disagrees. JB says the dynamic range isn't as good as a GoPro. That's on the Action 2. A little bit, but look, they're still in a different light. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right. The files are on the drive. We can get them. Where did I put them? Should be a folder called bot. Ah, there they are. Right, let me line it up. That's one. Let me open all three. Have you crashed this frame bot? So, we have some exclusive looks. Are we ready? Some bits. Here we go. Let me turn myself off. Let me get myself out the way. So the first thing he's shown us is this. Now, it's looking like he's given it a good thrashing so far. So what we can see is we've got a bottom plate. All in one piece with the arms above. And then a higher mid plate. Which looks higher again. So what you've got is the front end being the lower plate and the back end being the topper plate. Let me get to the next picture. We've then got the arm edges. Look at them. Look at them. Look at the thickness of the arms on that. Oh, ho, 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 ho. And then you can see the thickness there. Wow, look at the depth. He's got some depth. He has got some depth. So, looking at it, we've got... that's interesting. So, we've got this bottom plate area, which is one piece to the front. And then you've got this higher top plate area for the back where it narrows down. What's the height there, bot? Can you tell us? Lighter than his last. Motor protection on the arms. I don't think that's sub 250. I forgot. There we go, ladies and gents. Look at this. We've got the bot grinder motors as well. Don't forget, you can get bot motors on his website. And we've also got the bottom of the frame there. So there's that one, and that's a good look at it from underneath. Man, you can see she will take a smash in and protect the motors as well. You can see that on the sides here, look. You can see it. She will take an absolute beating. It really does look decent. Never been seen before. This is a world's first, ladies and gentlemen, from the amazing Mr. Bot Grinder. Looking good. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. So, bot, where's it going to be? When and where? When and where? It will buff out. It will buff out. When and where? When are we talking? 2 weeks? Cool. 2 weeks, ladies and gents. Now, if you don't know, this man, let me get back to my browser. The crazy man himself. Not only does he have his YouTube channel, which is here, which we all know. I'm not going to... Who am I to show Mr. Bot Grinder's YouTube channel? I am privileged to show you Mr. Bot Grinder's YouTube channel. But he also has all of his merch available on his website here as well. If you do want to check it out, he's got his Apriel. And where is the other stuff? Where's the motors and stuff available from, bot? Where is it going to? Is it going to be listed on the website here, or are you doing it elsewhere? Because here's his TBS. Cool. You'll be getting it for TBS. Cool. Really good. The nice thing with TBS is you can get it worldwide as well, which means you'll be able to get it in the UK and FPV exchange. Nice. Get FPV. Nice. 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 I need to get myself a set of the bot grinder motors just to put them on the wall. Like a set of bot grinder motors just to have as a set of bot grinder motors. That's cool. Fat frames. I like thick frames. I do like thick frames. I've got most of you guys here won't know what this thing is, but I've showed this on the channel before. This is a frame from a company called Thug. They used to make FPV frames, and this is chunky as well. If I go to the overhead, right, this is a chunky frame to say the least. This is my analog smasher, as you can see. And this has got proper, not bot grinder thick arms, but it's got thick arms for what it is. Thug frames were great. They really were. Bot will appreciate that was their company logo as well. Really good frame. Really solid frame. This I've had this frame for years. You just cannot destroy this frame, no matter what I've done to it. You just cannot destroy this frame. That's my analog smasher these days. I tell you what, it flies very well under Betaflight 4.3. Better than it ever has, in fact. I'll be honest. And they had one called the Pig as well. Is Thug now Halo RC? I don't know. They had a frame called the Pig. They definitely had one called the Pig. I remember that. They don't make them anymore. They don't make them like that anymore. I'd love another one of them. I had that. I remember when I had that and I could barely fly acro at the time. So nothing's really changed. But yeah, hell of a frame. Hell of a frame indeed. It really was. Right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up in 3 minutes. I want to say, first of all, a massive, massive thank you to everyone who's donated the Super Chats tonight. It's been amazing. To everyone who has, I hope I've answered the questions you've asked. While I'm on that, I want to say a massive thank you to all of my Patreons. If you want to support the channel to allow us to keep making content like this, as well as the other videos we do, we try to put stuff out you might not see anywhere else, something a bit interesting, but the live streams have become a bit of an animal of themselves as well. And if you want to support us, there is a link to my Patreon in the description as well. That's the shilling done out the way. We will be back same time, same place next week. I don't really know what's happening this week. You won't have the same level of content on the channel next week as you've had this week. That I promise you. There's been some good, but there is some interesting stuff coming up, I promise. Just checking down in the comments just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Nope, looking good. Okay. Have a good week. Thanks for the stream. No problem at all. Thank you, bot. I appreciate it. A big thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight. I really do appreciate it. As always, it's amazing to have you guys here because a live stream without viewers, it's a complete waste of time. It's no good for anyone. It's like Bardos, but for the slightly more handsome and well-educated. I like that. Don't get me into trouble with JB. There's enough people who hate me right now. I don't need anyone else hating me. I really don't. Anyway, stay safe. Back again, same time, same place next week. Look after yourselves. Now I've got to find the magic button. Where is it? It's up there for the end stream. Button 1. Here we go. I should add an advert at the end of this stream. That's what I should have finished it with, an ad. Stay safe. I'll speak to you soon.